Hey guys, Killix here, multi-rank 1 in PvP and Mythic Plus every single tier and the #1 Virgin Collector in North America. Today we're breaking down one of the most punishing solo encounters in WoW right now, Ky'veza. This fight will push your patience, your awareness, and your mechanics to the absolute limits. I'm going to walk you through every ability, every trick, and the exact strategy I used to clear it on a 686 eye level protection paladin using nothing but one button rotation and a few defensives. If you've been struggling or you're just too intimidated to even try this, stick around and I'll show you how anyone can beat this with enough practice. Let's get this out of the way now. You will not one-shot this. I personally wiped close to 60 times before I finally got the kill. There were plenty of moments where I tilted so hard, but every single time I took a break, reset, and came back calmer, I made more progress instantly. This encounter is as much of a mental challenge as it is a mechanical challenge. The whole reason I chose to do this with the one button rotation was to just take DPS completely out of the equation, so I could focus 100% on surviving and learning the mechanics first. It's not the fastest way to kill her. In fact, it makes the fight significantly longer. This kill took over 15 minutes, and it also makes it harder because you're doing way less damage, but that's exactly why I did it. I also avoided stacking any sort of possible consumable, cheese strat, or perfect gear setup because I wanted to show you that you don't need to min-max every single trick in the book to win. If you put in the time to learn the fight, stay patient, and keep pulling, it's absolutely doable. This isn't about flexing, it's about proving that even with a slower, stripped down setup, this fight can be beaten. I want anyone watching who's on the fence to know, if you keep at it and focus mechanics first, you will get there. I cleared this with minimal consumables, actually only using a tempered pot on cooldown. At 686 eye level on a protection paladin, using only Word of Glory, defensives, Avenging Wrath, and my trinkets. Right? So some general tips for you guys before we get into the actual mechanics themselves, and I teach you how to deal with every single mechanic, is your brand is going to die a lot. Do not try to res him. If he dies, he'll resurrect on his own, often with a short grace period. Don't try to heal him, don't try to save him, don't try to do anything. Ky'veza is always going to announce every single mechanic before it happens. Learn her voice line depending on the mechanic, and it will make the fight drastically easier. You'll notice that I also turned off nameplates for the entire fight. Her HP does not matter. Completely forget that she even has health. This will make the fight a lot less daunting and a lot less stressful for you if you keep that in mind. Ability timers are not perfect. The phases can shift them slightly, but they're close enough to be extremely helpful as well. Now, you're going to use Bigwigs and the weak aura I linked in the description. They're game changers for tracking mechanics. As far as how the location goes, she's going to be located inside the Koresh Tazavesh, right inside Void Razor Sanctuary. I'll put the coordinates down below for the entrance of this area. You're going to go to the Delve, pick the portal, and we're going to pick hard mode in this case. Before we get into it, we're going to start off with all of our settings. Now, some of these might actually help make the fight easier for you. So we're going to press escape, we're going to go to options, and we're going to type in gamma. We're going to change this to 1.2, or just play around with it and see whatever you like the most. This is going to change the brightness of the in-game UI and everything, all the abilities and everything, so it's going to make things easier for you to see depending on the options. Next one is going to be anti-aliasing. We're going to put this on none. And then chat bubbles. It's very important that you have on chat bubbles on all. That way you can clearly see her whenever she yells, and this is how you can determine sometimes what mechanic she's doing next. And then the next thing is going to be self-highlight mode. Now this one you could do outline, and this is going to allow you to easily see wherever your character is and whichever way it's facing, no matter what type of content or commotion is going on inside while you're fighting her. Throughout the encounter, you'll notice that I'm using a specific weak aura to track her abilities and their timers. I'll leave the link in the description for that. For add-ons, I recommend Bigwigs. Just type in /BW in-game while you're zoned inside the actual specific delve. And then you're going to go to dungeon bosses, right? So you can either go here to the right, dungeon bosses, under delves, Void Razor Sanctuary, and pick Ky'veza. And you're going to highlight, you're going to make sure that all of her mechanics are clicked. And then you're going to go through every single mechanic and click emphasize on every single mechanic. Now, when you get to the mechanic called Dark Massacre, you're going to make sure it's emphasized and on countdown. This is going to give you a 5-second verbal countdown whenever she starts doing Dark Massacre. That way you can prepare for it. Arguably, this is the hardest mechanic in this fight. Make sure you stick around till the end of the video to see my genuine reaction of me killing this and freaking out. When it comes to Nexus Daggers, right before the mechanic happens, she's going to yell out Flight of Blades, as you can see here. This happens instantly on pull when you pull the boss, and every 30 to 60 seconds thereafter, on average. You're going to want to move preemptively 0.5 seconds before the daggers even fire. Pre-moving for this mechanic is key. Reacting late will almost always get you killed. The weak aura is going to show the exact seconds and moments before the mechanic actually happens, and it's extremely accurate. So as you can see here, it's going to come in 5 seconds, and I'm going to start moving 0.5 seconds before the daggers come out. So right now I'm going to start moving. I'm just going to dodge them. I personally always move clockwise at the beginning, away from the NPC, spawning the daggers. You never want to run along the lines, you always want to cut across them. Strafing is your best friend when it comes to this mechanic. Track which waves spawn first. Often you can step into the space before the later waves pass of the first waves. Compared to the Mythic raid, you have a lot more time here, so don't panic move and don't freak out. If you are cornered with no safe spot, just use a sprint, or if you have, use an immunity. The next mechanic we're going to go over is called Nether Rift. She's going to yell out "The darkness hungers" before she does this. You're going to want to wait for Bran to move before dropping your Rift. Do not rush this mechanic. As you can see here, it's coming in 2 seconds. I plant, I sit still, and then I wait for Bran to move, and then I move. The goal here is to form a triangle with the rifts. The exact distance does not matter to a certain degree. If Bran is throwing hammers mid-phase, you have to handle this positioning by yourself. He will most likely die if he's in the air throwing hammers, and he'll stack his circle in a really bad spot. Sometimes Bran bugs out and floats and throws daggers, right? And he just sits there and he doesn't move. If this happens, expect 2 circles to spawn very close to each other. In this case, drop your rift extremely far away and stay near it, and then use a sprint ability and run away from the 2 that are stacked. It's often better to use sprint to position a rift perfectly than to escape a pull-in. If you position your rifts perfectly throughout this encounter, you won't even have to move. You can literally take your hand off your keyboard. If placed well, you may not even have to ever move, right? So make sure you place them well. You'll know Bran has stopped moving when he disengages. Even if it's just a few feet, position around that. Whenever Bran goes into that phase, he'll instantly disengage in the spot that he wants to plant, and then he'll stay there the entire time. So you'll have to adjust accordingly. Sometimes he'll disengage right on top of you where you are at the beginning of that phase of Nether Rift, right? And then you're going to have to readjust your positioning. So right here, watch. It's about to happen in 1 second. I plant, I don't move, and he just disengaged, and I barely had to move, right? I can just sit there and just triangle it. It's in the middle. See, like my hands are like completely off my keyboard right now, except a little bit of movement. You want to completely ignore Bran's HP. Do not waste time ever trying to save him in this entire fight at all, ever. When the Nether Rifts happen as well, the room is going to be kind of split off because a new mechanic is introduced in hard mode. There's going to be 3 triangle slices that come out. If you get hit by these, you'll most likely die. And then when you drop your puddle, you'll get pulled in. If you ever touch any of these circles, you'll instantly die. The next mechanic we're going to go over is arguably the hardest mechanic throughout this entire encounter, and is going to be the most frustrating one for you to learn and master. This is called Dark Massacre. Whenever she does this mechanic, she'll yell out, "Don't turn your back." It often happens sometime after rifts. And then on hard mode, you're going to do 6 total adds, okay? So there's going to be 6 of these. So it's twice as hard as it is on normal mode. The strategy that I developed that has worked best for me is to simplify it. Number 1, immediately turn to the first add that spawns. Number 2, note the spawn position of the second and third adds. From there, predicting the 4th, 5th, and 6th add becomes trivial. So as long as you properly turn towards the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd add, the 4th, 5th, and 6th add will be a joke to figure out. Okay? And also the next add in the rotation also turns red. So that's another indicator. Be aware sometimes you'll see 2 red adds. Always track them from the first one, right? So at the beginning when I was struggling with this mechanic, I would see 2 red adds and I would get confused and I would look at the wrong one and die. So right here, turn towards the first one, track where the other 2 spawned, and then you see how the next one is turning red, right? So after that, it's a complete joke. You want to avoid camera flicks with this mechanic. They can cause instant misfacing deaths. Also, what helped me tremendously as well during this mechanic is I often run slightly towards the ad to ensure that I'm facing it. But don't get too close, because the proximity of the ad can actually kill you, because it'll make the ad charge a different direction. Most people will fail this mechanic because they try to track all of the ads at once. Just track the first 3 ads, and then the rest are easy to figure out. The next mechanic and the final mechanic that we're going to go over is called Invoke the Shadows. She's going to yell out, "I'm never outnumbered," right before she does this. She starts on the empty ground circle. Position yourself just to the right of it, as I am right now, and angle your camera outwards to view the platform. If you lose track of where she begins because you are being overwhelmed at the time, she also yells out, "Which is real." That's how you know the real ad. This is going to recur roughly every minute, and she's going to swap clones positions 12 times. If you guess the wrong ad, you're dead. You cannot immune this. So here, right before the Invoke Shadows phase happens, in 2 seconds, I'm going to turn off my UI. I'm going to go to the empty rune, just to the right of me. If I lose track of her, I look at her, which is real. I sit in that one corner, tilt my camera up a little bit, and I look kind of like directly into the middle of the platform. I don't really follow the ad the entire time. I tried following the ad the entire time, every single phase, and I would often lose it. But once I started kind of like tunnel visioning at a certain spot of the floor and kind of using my peripheral vision to follow the real ad, I legitimately did not fail that mechanic a single time. I know it's a little bit weird because it's hard for me to explain the thought process behind this method, but I didn't fail it a single time after I started doing this. So try it out, see if it works for you, and let me know if I'm crazy. Let me know if I have no idea how to explain it, because honestly I have no idea how to explain it. But I basically just look at the floor and tunnel vision, look at the floor while I follow the real ad with my peripheral vision. If that makes sense, let me know in the comments, because it doesn't make sense to me, to be honest, but it's what I found out to work the best for me, and it's what I stuck with, and I didn't fail it a single time after I did that. Check out my full talent build I made specifically for this encounter for Protection Paladins. It's a different build from the basic key and rating build that Wowhead has. It's specifically tailored for this encounter only. Keep in mind, the more you gear up your character, the more you level your brand, and the more you upgrade Brand's curios, this fight will drastically get easier. But if you approach this fight methodically, using the 1-button rotation to free up your attention, and apply these mechanical tips that I've given you, you'll see consistent progress every single pull. Remember, this is not a DPS race. It's about surviving long enough to see and master every single pattern and mechanic. Once you've done that, the kill is just a matter of time. So any amount of gear in this game, this expansion will not help you defeat this encounter. What will help you the most and secure the kill is learning and perfecting every mechanic. Because with as much gear as you can get this season, some of these mechanics will still one-shot you no matter what. Some of these mechanics do 50 to 55 million damage. Okay, so you cannot prevent that. You have to actually learn the fight and do it properly. That's everything you need to know to beat Ky'veza, one of the most punishing solo encounters in the game right now. If you've been avoiding this fight because you thought it was impossible, I hope this guide proves that it's absolutely doable with patience, practice, and the right approach and the right mindset. If you found this guide helpful, check out my other guides here on the channel for more in-game breakdowns. You can also catch me live at Twitch at twitch.tv/KillerKTV, where I'm usually theory crafting, testing strategies, helping viewers with any sort of content, or just collecting and playing the game myself. Stick around to the end to see my actual reaction, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Oh my god, bro, this fucking fight, man. Oh, I'm starting to think I don't have what it takes. Oh! Oh!
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my god! No fucking way. Yes, bro. Holy Christ, I'm shaking. I'm actually shaking.